Hello, welcome to the Pyrenees. Now the finale of this year's Tour de France takes place right on our doorstep with two back-to-back summit finish mountain stages, either of which could flip the script of even this tour. I went and rode both to share with you the incredible experience of riding these routes and to see what's in store for the pros. Here's stage 17 from Muret to Saint-Lary-Soulan, Col de Portet. Hello, welcome to the Pyrenees. We're on the route of stage 17 of this year's Tour de France, which goes from Muret to Col de Portet, summit finish. It's the second of only 3 summit finishes, and the next one comes back to back on stage 18 to Les Ardennes. This is going to be a tough stage, nearly 180 kilometers with 3 climbs. First is Col de Peyresourde, and we're heading there now, which kicks up straight out of Bagnères de Luchon. Then in the middle is Col d'Azet, which could be easily dismissed compared to Peyresourde before it, and especially Plat Col de Portet that comes after. But as we'll see, I think Col d'Azet could be a bit significant. And then we have that massive summit finish on Col de Portet at 2200 meters. The road paved, and just for the Tour de France in 2018, when they ran the sort of experimental 65 kilometer stage from Bagnères de Luchon, which actually followed today's route, just without all of this preamble. That day's winner was Nero Quintana. We're coming into Bagnères de Luchon. We're getting to the good bit now. We're at the foot of Col de Peyresourde now, just outside of Bagnères de Luchon. This is where the day's action kicks off. We're going to have a really close look at it. A lot of climbing to go. Col de Peyresourde is 14 kilometers long, climb is 944 meters, average is 6.5%, so it's not super hard. As I'll show you, it's got some grippy bits, but tapping up it now fairly comfortably. It's the Peyresourde. Doesn't throw up too many really steep bits, but this ramp started at 11, settled down at 10. It's one of the harder bits on the climb, but it's fairly short. Look at the views already. This is a really pretty climb. Hopefully it's a day like this when the race comes through. This village really divides the climb. Kind of steep and winding. Bit switchbacky to this point, up out to Bagnères de Luchon, and from here opens right out. Turns into a sort of high valley. You go up the side of it, then the final famous few switchbacks. Man, it's warmed up a lot. 32 degrees now. It's 15 when I set off. 3k from the summit now. It's really warm. And you can see the summit up there, it's just come into view. Last hairpin before the top. Behind me, that's the descent of the Col de Peyresourde down towards Loudenvielle. Stage 17 recaps at this point. 100k of preamble, flat nearly all the way into Bagnères de Luchon. Hardly any climbing even in that valley. Then the Col de Peyresourde, 14 kilometer climb, Average is 6.5% because it's got some flatter bits in it. Most of it's sort of 7 or 8, a couple of 10% ramps. Nothing too drastic. With so much to come on this stage, I really expect the peloton will go relatively steady up Col de Peyresourde. They might even enjoy the view. And then they launch into the descent. Let's go. It starts the Col de Peyresourde, 7.5k. It's not nothing. Someone tell this guy. Immediately is steep. And the Wahoo screen shows what's to come. Lots of potential for teams to cause mischief here. $5k to go on Col de Portet. 10% average for this kilometre. You can also see that it's pretty easy to get out of sight. And even though you've got time checks and everything, that can make all the difference. Just being out of sight of the chasers. It's Col de Peyresourde in the background. Flatter day, Col de Portet gets straight down to business. Average is 9% for 7k. Before the road splits and heads to Col de Portet. Next kilometre averages 11. This is where it all kicks off. The usual whittling down first, I expect. But if someone has ideas of making up a couple of minutes and thinks they have the legs to do it, These early ramps are as good a springboard as any. 11% now. I mean, a domestique sat in front of me wouldn't make a blind bit of difference right now. And for the descent of Col de Portet down to St. Larry, fairly narrow, not super technical, but not very well surfaced, and doesn't really lend itself to an organised chase. That was kind. This is a Great Pyrenean. How you doing? Yeah, stay there. Just behind me is the split where the road goes round onto Pla Day and the ski station, where you swing right up towards Col de Portet, and it's pretty clear how much more climbing awaits. What a brute of a day. And there's just no hiding here. Anyone who's close to cracking, or is just tired after 2.5 weeks of racing, gonna get found out. Here's the turn to Col de Portet. It's another 8 kilometers from here. And this road was only tarmacked for the Tour de France in 2018. They missed some bits. The other person I thought of who's going to really suffer, I think especially on this stage, is Lachlan Morton, a VF Education First, who's not riding V-Tour. He's doing his Alt Tour. Riding the entire Tour de France route, solo, bike packing, self-supported, with a bike that totals about 20 kilos loaded. The route goes really close to our house. Les Ardennes, just 10k away from our place at Escapes the Pyrenees. See if we can maybe meet up with Lachlan Morton on the road. Just go give him some encouragement. Offer him a chance to crash at our place, have a meal. See how that fits in his schedule. If he's coming by at 3 in the morning, might just tweet him. Oh look, it's 10% again. It's 320 watts, 66 RPM. I don't think there are any kilometre markers on this climb. So I'm just going by the altitude. Got 500 metres still to climb. So it looks like they're going to do some resurfacing. Good job too. Here's some new surface. It's not exactly an F1 spec, but at least I'm not missing my gravel bike. So as you come out of the tunnel, it's only 100 vertical meters still to climb. Just over a kilometre probably. A few hundred meters to go. That's it, stage 17 done. We're at the top of the Col de Portet, we're at 2,215 meters. It's just me and some curious cows. And yeah, I'm pretty tired now. That was a really hard ride. It's been an absolutely glorious day in the Pyrenees. And it leaves absolutely no doubt that this is a total leg breaker of a stage. The top 5 on GC are going to be spread by minutes. If you want to come and ride here, check us out at escapetothepyrenees.com. I'm starting to get a bit chilly now, so it's time for me to head home. Oh good. Car's still there. Well, that was a ride and a half. 7 hours, 1 minute, 170 kilometers. Really hope you enjoyed this preview of stage 17. Please give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and make sure you check out the stage 18 preview as well. Thanks very much for watching. See ya.